Coach, can you hear me okay? My goodness, what a defensive performance today.
Yeah, guys did good. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you're ready, we're ready for just your opening statement and thoughts on the game.
It was good win for us. I thought that we were consistent across the board. We rushed the football good, averaged 5 yards a carry, rushing the ball. And defensively, we played really well. Got an opportunity to play a lot of guys, which was good. A lot of guys that practice hard and commit themselves to this organization. And so we got to get them on the field really for a little bit of the third quarter and most of all the fourth quarter. So it's a good win for us. Guys have come together a little bit, practicing pretty good, and just got to keep it going. You know, get a little bit of work next week, get him some free time in an open week, and then move forward.
You have any questions for Coach? We ask that you please click raise hand, and we'll try and get to you. Our first question is going to come from Garen Emig from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
Mike, was this a good day in terms of getting Shane not just some experience but some confidence?
Well, I hope so. You know, he played better today, and he was on most of his reads. We got into a good flow offensively. Looked like we used to look years ago from execution standpoint. Allowed him to improve himself, in my opinion.
Our next question comes from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny. Jenny, you're on mute.
I don't hear her.
Jenny, I'm going to try you here. I'm going to try to unmute you from here. All right, now try, Jenny.
Okay, I couldn't get myself unmuted, sorry. Hey, Mike, the way the defense played today seemed very workmanlike. What did you like about their performance overall today?
Well, I think they were 1 of 14 on third down, and that might have been in the fourth quarter. Being that effective on third down is going to get you off the field a lot. I thought we tackled through the first 3 quarters really well. When we had some down the line guys in, some of our twos later, we missed a few tackles. But, you know, they've come together as a group. You know, they continue to work hard. They've got some depth. They run around pretty good. Our schemes seem to be working. We can stay the course. It'll give us a chance to win a few more games.
I know obviously to lose Spencer in the opener, you probably want to go back and not have that happen. But other than that, the way your team has played through the first 3 games, you feel pretty good about the performances and what you're seeing when you think about that body of work?
Well, I feel better about our offense today than I did the last 2 weeks. We didn't have to play musical chairs up front. Quarterback got a little bit more experience. He was much better today than he was in the last game, which we hope that he would continue to make improvement based on experience. We rushed the ball for 5 yards a carry. We protected the football better today. We took ourselves out of a lot of drives the last couple of games because we put the ball on the ground, and today we were much better. So, you know, we've got a lot of work, and Charlie's done a nice job with the offensive line with those guys. It looked like today that we blocked pretty well. It's hard for me to see on the field, but it looked like that we covered guys up much better than we had in the first 2 games.
Thanks.
Our next question is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, Coach, what did you think of the way Chuba ran the ball today?
I didn't hear you. Did you hear him, Gavin?
Yeah, he asked, how did you feel Chuba ran the ball today?
Well, it looked like he ran effective, and he made some cuts. Again, he took good care of the football, which has been very lackadaisical for us as an offense, rushing the ball. Today he was much better taking care of the football, so that's a plus. And it seemed like he was hitting the holes and making cuts across the line of scrimmage, which is what he does best.
And then I'd like to get your thoughts on Kasey's game plan overall and what you saw from how that was executed.
I thought we had a good plan. Obviously, it worked. We had 31 points at the half, and it seemed like the times that we we didn't execute and we had to punt, it was us and not necessarily them, which is a good sign, meaning that you asked me about his plan. So if we don't convert on a first down because we had a mistake, then the plan's good. So I felt like the plan was good. I think our plans were good throughout the first 3 games. We just never could really get in sync and get rolling as an offense until today.
Thanks, Coach.
Our next question comes from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Mike, it looked like everything came together. The defense continued to play well. The offense got it rolling. How do you take what you guys did today and continue it specifically with the offense moving forward?
We just don't need to get out of our box. We have three or 4 days this week that we can prepare on basic fundamentals of football, blocking and tackling, footwork, ball control, breaking on the ball, making plays. We need to continue with simplicity to allow our guys to improve at just the basic things that, in our opinion, help us win a football game. And so I know that sounds somewhat elementary, but that's where we are right now. Just continue with basic stuff. I don't think any of us can forget that, we can get hit with COVID at any time and be playing guys that don't get as many reps. And so if we're complicated, essentially we're putting ourselves behind the 8 ball. So we'll try to stay as simple as possible and get some good quality work this week. Let them have some time to regroup as a team.
You guys had a number of, big chunk plays today, which was, big for you guys last season. How much of that is part of the DNA of you guys' offense, being able to take advantage of those big plays?
Well, that's been our DNA for a long time. And we haven't had any in the first couple games. And again, with moving the quarterback around and changing linemen, we couldn't get in sync. And part of what we do is get chunk plays, hopefully. And today looked more like who we've been for the last 13 or 14 years on offense.
Thank you, Mike.
Our next question comes from Cody Nagel from Go Pokes. Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, Mike, you got a few true freshmen in there at the end. Were there any that kind of stood out to you from the sidelines?
I saw some guys play there. 80 got in a little bit. 10 was in there a little bit. We had a variety of young guys or / guys that hadn't played any in real games on defense, which is great. They don't play as good as you'd want them to. They've never been in games, but it seemed like they were running to the ball, trying to make some plays, and that's how they learn. They get in there, they play, they make mistakes, they get over being in a college football game, and hopefully they'll be better the next time they get in.
All right, thank you.
Our next question comes from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Mike. Tylan continues to just really impress coming off his knee injury. What do you think? What goes through your head when you see him continue to get better each week? What do you think when you see him just looks like there's no knee injury?
Well, they, knock on wood, they can repair these things nowadays, essentially. Some people think better than the way it was originally. So you get great medical care, and then it's up to the young man to rehabilitate himself. And Tylan is very driven. And he was, at sometimes we felt 4 to 6 weeks ahead in recovery, just based on his willingness to work hard with rehab. And he's put himself in a good situation. He's somewhat past the mental part of it, which, anytime you get injured, it works on you mentally a little bit. I think he's gotten past that now, and he's back to just enjoying the game.
On a different topic, what do you have any kind of update on Malcolm or Ayman after they kind of took some shots to the head?
I think they're fine. I mean, I don't know. They run tests on them and do things, tonight and tomorrow morning, but I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Thanks, Mike.
Our next question comes from Ryan Breeden from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Coach. So you mentioned earlier about the chunk plays, and I was wondering how much of that would you contribute to just deciding to open up the playbook a little bit more and allow for that, or how much of that goes from like Shane just starting to get a little more comfortable?
Well, two things. The first thing is we're able to do a little more this week than we have been because of offensive line being in the same spot. Quarterbacks was now in, 2.5 games for him. That allowed him to have some flexibility. And then we're able to get in sync. So when we're in sync with our offense, then it allows us to throw the ball and get a few more chunk plays. It's the way it's been for a long time. We never could get in sync in the last 2 games, and so you were without the chunk plays. Today we had rhythm. That allowed us to execute those plays.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Our next question comes from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Mike, after your reserve guys gave up that touchdown in the fourth quarter, I saw some genuine disappointment on your starters over on the sideline. How much did you feel like those guys wanted to get that 0 up on the scoreboard?
They did. They wanted to shut out. But here's the deal. The young men that got in the game and played today, they've been working with our team just as much as the other guys. And I'm always going to lean toward letting everybody play. Sure, we all wanted a shutout, but there's 2 things we want to try to avoid. We don't want to get a starter banged up when we're ahead by 40 points. And then the other young men deserve to play. You know, their moms and dads and girlfriends and aunts and uncles want to see them play, and they've been busting their butts. So let them get in there and play, and that's what it's all about. So we're always going to stay on the side of letting everybody get in the game and play.
Hey, one other thing you mentioned, the fact that, you know, you guys haven't been perfect to this point, but your guys have continued to improve. That's got to be one of those things that you think, well, we're not a finished product and these guys are able to get better. Has that been one of the more encouraging things about these guys to this point?
You always want to get better every week. We know that. You hear that. That's the old coaches talk. But we've improved each week. So how do we do that? Well, simplicity is one. Quality reps. We're trying to work to build our conditioning up. We're not in good shape right now, but we're a little better in this game than we were in the West Virginia game. So we have a plan to try to build up our wind as we move along, but not overwork them. So I've said it 3 times, but I'll say it 4. It goes back to simplicity, to where we don't have to burn as much during the week. Try to get them in good shape, and then manage, throughout the season, get a little bit better each game.
Coach, thanks so much for taking the time. Through today's results, Oklahoma State is the last remaining unbeaten Big 12 team.
Wow, crazy. All right, guys, y'all be safe. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Coach Dunn, congratulations on the win.
Thanks. Yeah, good dub.
So if anyone has questions for offensive coordinator Kasey Dunn, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Ryan Breeden from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Kasey. So you guys had some pretty good chunk plays today that maybe hadn't happened in the first 2 games, able to throw the ball down the field a little bit. How much of that had to do with just kind of deciding to gradually open up the playbook a bit more versus Shane just being a bit more comfortable today compared to last game?
Once we had a little bit of consistency with the offensive line and Shane had some snaps under his belt, makes a big difference. And we wanted to push the ball down the field a little bit today and open it up because it was, we were pretty conservative in the first 2 games. And it was time to stretch it vertical. So we took a couple shots that worked out.
What did you see from Shane today, this week, compared to last week, just the progressions?
We didn't have a whole lot of things in it for him to where he was going to go back through all the progressions. Most of it was just, hey, man, here we go. Here's 1 to 2, take a shot. And he stood in the pocket and he let it go. So he had confidence, poise enough to stand in there and chuck it deep for us today and took a couple shots. And fortunately, the kids were open. So, like I said, it worked out, we took the same kind of shots in the first 2 games, a couple of them anyway. And we didn't catch them. So it's just one of those days. It worked for us today.
Our next question is going to come from Jason Elmquist from the Stillwater News Press. Go ahead, Jason.
How you doing, Kasey?
Good, Jace. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Well, obviously the first 2 weeks there's been some criticism or questions on Chuba's running the ball. Today he goes up 7 yards per carry, 145 yards rushing. How impressed were you with his performance today?
I was thoroughly. I mean, it was great to see him get out there and get on the perimeter, and see him stretch out those legs and get that speed, up again and get that catapult that we have. I mean, hopefully his numbers on that catapult popped up there around 20 something. But it was good. It was good to see him get out there on the perimeter today and get some space and green grass in front of him.
And then you guys were trying to target Tylan a little bit more. Was that part of the game plan, or just kind of developed with the way that their defense was running things?
We wanted to make sure that he and 30 got touches. Those are our guys, and we want to try and make sure that they get off to a good start. It just so happened that it lasted a little longer than maybe we thought it would. Both those continued to just roll with it and take advantage of the snaps that they got, the touches that they had. So, yeah, we were trying to give them the ball, but we were trying to get 30 the ball too. Those are, like I said, those are our guys. So, at the end of the day, they got a few more touches probably than we thought they were going to get, which is still good.
Thanks, Kasey.
Yeah, you bet.
Our final question for Kasey Dunn is going to come from Sudit Tuma from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Sudit.
Hey, Coach, when the defense is playing the way it is, how does that kind of alter the way you game plan and call plays?
Well, it did in the first 2 games for sure. We don't want to set our guy out there too much and expose him, to potential turnovers. So, young guy, we're trying to make sure that we kind of manufacture some of the plays for him and not stretch his skill set too much too soon. So, it changed it quite a bit. Our defense is playing really, really well. So, to take a bunch of chances is unnecessary, at least at this point. So we got to keep riding them. They're doing a great job. We'll keep bringing them along on the offensive side, and hopefully we can get this thing, to where we're matching what they're doing on the defensive side. So maybe we can find ourselves into the big dance at the end of this thing. So we just got to keep plugging along. That's what we want. Trying to get to that Big 12 championship.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with us, and congratulations again on the win.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Gavin. All right, guys. Go, folks.
Chuba, what's going on?
What's going on?
You were looking like a live wire out there today.
Appreciate it.
You feel good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. If you have a question for running back Chuba Hubbard, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Chuba, this looked like one of those days that a lot of us have come to expect from you. Did anything feel different to you at all?
I don't know. I'm just, obviously, the last few games, I haven't done what I've, wanted to. But I don't know. I just show up to play football every day, work hard every day, and some days it's not going to be the best. Some days it will. So.
What did you think of Shane, the young guy at quarterback, and his performance today?
He did a great job. I mean, our O-line did a great job protecting for him. He threw the ball well. All the receivers did a great job, obviously. They're just a great job by the offense all around. So, yeah, I was proud of it. I was proud of the boys.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Chuba, in the first 2 games, the offense didn't play as well as, expected. How can a game like this catapult you guys into, continuing this up?
thought the first two games we did pretty good. I really put the first two games on me. A lot of these mistakes, a lot of the things that we wanted to do fall back on me. So I thought we'd been playing pretty good these last three games, but I just need to step focus.
Appreciate you.
All right, Chuba, we appreciate you hanging out with us here for a little bit. Have a safe trip going back home.
Appreciate it.
Tyler, what a performance by that defense today.
I know, thank you.
I'll tell you what, by my count, when the starters got pulled, Kansas had run 39 plays for 67 yards, which is 1.7 yards per play. And that's when the starters came out. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'll tell the D-line y'all said that in the whole defense.
All right. What do you think it was? What made the difference today?
Said it. Can you say that again?
What do you think it was? What made the difference today?
Throughout practice, we knew they had a strong running back core, so we had to go out there and get after it. I mean, Jim Knowles, hooked us up with a good game plan, and we just came out there and executed it.
Well, congratulations on the win. If anybody, members of the media, have a question for defensive lineman Tyler Lacy, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Hey, you guys continue to just be very workmanlike in your performance. I mean, obviously there's some big numbers, but just that overall attention to detail on defense. What have you liked most about the way you guys have looked through the first three games, Tyler?
What I like about us about going into these three games, just defense, just coming out strong. We come out every day to practice, working hard, trying to get close to the Big 12 title.
Obviously there was a good reason why you guys had reserves in there in the second half, but I saw some guys that, I mean, when Kansas scored, there was genuinely like, oh man, the shutout is gone. Was there that feeling on the defense after they got points on the board?
Yeah, it was. I kind of betted the guys $5 if they scored, but it's okay. It happens. I mean, they're the younger guys. They're going to have to stick in there and learn it out. They have plenty of time.
So $5 you lost on that, huh?
No, I get that. I get $5.
Oh, from them. Well played. Well played.
The next question comes from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Is there anything in particular that you feel is different about this defensive line that you guys are doing better than you were a year ago?
The thing I think is different is we all got experience on the D-line. I mean, you got me and Cam and Trace. I mean, we're returning starters, and we got Brendan Evers coming back. Coming on the D-line. He's a strong fit for us, and we're just going out there playing hard and trusting each other.
For you in particular, what'd you feel worked well for you today?
What I felt worked for me today was focusing on my keys and my responsibilities I have, and trusting the other guys to make plays.
Thank you.
Tyler, congratulations again on the win. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a safe trip home.
I appreciate it. I heard you.
So, Coach Knowles, before you get going here, we've got now, this is 7 consecutive Big 12 opponents that have been held under their season scoring average by this Oklahoma State defense going back to last year.
That's a great stat. Yeah, I try not to look at stats, but I'm glad you do. I appreciate it. It's a good
Somebody's
one.
got to, right?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, good performance today. If anyone has a question for defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hi, Jenny.
So the shutout, you were so close. I know you probably like to get some young guys out there, but just the statement of, holding a team to only a touchdown, what does that mean for this defense?
Well, I think it's great just to build one positive performance after another. I try to talk to them about, the next play, the next game. All those, I told them at halftime, coaches' cliches. It's not nothing. Coaches always like to say it's nothing. I said it's not nothing. It's 31-0. But we need to be able to have a standard of play that we execute, no matter what the score or when it is. So it's really just trying to roll one performance into the next and build confidence and hold ourselves to a high standard, no matter who we're playing.
I think it was Mike that said earlier in his post-game comments that this team isn't a finished product. It's not a perfect product, but continue to get better. And that's a pretty big statement in and of itself, that you've got a team that can learn and grow. Have you seen evidence of that on the defense?
Absolutely. I mean, when you have veterans, they can take coaching. They know how to take coaching. They're used to me by now, and they know my style, right? So you just got a bunch of guys who can take coaching. That's important, because that's hard sometimes for this generation or any generation, right? I mean, to be corrected when you're doing well, and you can make adjustments and you can do things with these guys, and they handle it. They handle it, and they know when they're wrong, and they know when they can get better, and that's just a really good situation.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Our next question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Jim. I know Ayman was a little banged up at the end there, but he was pretty open last week about COVID and stuff he went through. What did you see him go through, and how he's responded to that?
Ayman's been through a lot. He really has, with COVID and some of the principles that he stands for, in the world. And, he's just continued to grow and mature as a person and as a leader. And, I saw it in him a couple years ago. And like I've said it before, I was pretty hard on him because I knew that he had the potential to be a great leader for this program. And it's really nice to see him get through some tough times and, emerge with his own voice and his own style.
On today's game related, you guys did really well against Puka, obviously. Did really well in general, but against Puka, what do you feel like you did well to slow him down?
We made enough penetration, into the backfield to get on him early. And, first guy's not going to bring him down. He's a premier running back. So I thought we made enough penetration to get him off track. And then we just swarmed the football well, which a great defense does. We just, we told him he's not down. He's a guy that's going to keep going, and you need to play the whole play.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
Our final question is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Jim, what was different for you guys having the offense putting up points fast and in big chunks today?
Not much, Scott. I mean, it's not a cliche. I mean, we just be preaching to these guys that it doesn't matter what the offense does. They're going to get back on track, which they did today. We need to play no matter what the situation with the score. So I don't think it changed us at all, but it's nice to see when your teammates roll. You know what I mean? It's a family, and it's good to see. It's good to see when they roll and do well. But we need to have the mentality that we can do our job.
Is today another step in the right direction, confidence-wise, with this group?
Absolutely. I mean, they had two premier backs. They really did, and they did some things which we thought they might do, putting both those guys in there a lot. And we had to make some adjustments to different formations, and we just kept playing. And we got off the field on third down. And it's just becoming a total comprehensive unit where we have coverage, we have rush, we have run stopping capabilities. So, I mean, I just think we're getting better in all areas.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, thank you so much, and congratulations on the win. Tremendously impressive performance from the defense, especially.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Tylan Wallace, 9 catches, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Those are some pretty gaudy numbers.
Appreciate it.
Most importantly, though, 3-0, you got the win, right?
Definitely. That's it.
All right. So if you have a question for wide receiver Tylan Wallace, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Ryan Novozinski from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, Tylan, what can you tell us about this touchdown chain that you guys unveiled today?
Yeah, I mean, well, something we kind of brought up in the summer that we said we were going to use it this season. And I'm happy that we got to bring it out today. We've been waiting these past couple games to bring it out, and I'm happy that we were able to bring it out and show everybody what it was today.
That's awesome. Thanks, Tylan.
Our next question comes from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
All right, Tylan, the big question here. Have you ever been that wide open before?
Honestly, I don't think I have. That was probably the most wide open I've ever been. I think it was kind of, they had a little busted coverage, I guess, and the key thing for me, I was just trying to make sure I catch it. You know, I knew I was wide open. I was by myself, and to be honest, those are really kind of the harder catches to make when you're out there by yourself. But just happy I just had to make sure I catch it, put it right on the money.
What did you think of Shane today? I mean, you mentioned that's a hard catch. That's got to be a hard throw too when you see someone that wide open, not to mess it up. But what did you think of him overall too?
I think he held himself really to a high standard, and I think his maturity over the past couple of games, the past couple of weeks, has just really got my attention. I feel like he has the mentality of an older guy. You don't see that a lot in freshmen, and I'm just really excited for him in the future and the way he holds himself.
Awesome. Thanks, Tylan.
Our next question comes from Ryan Breeden from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Tylan, like you mentioned earlier, you guys were really able to throw it down the field today a little bit, unlike the last two games had been. What was the difference today?
Just what they did defensively allowed us to be able to do those things. And we knew, we watched film past two games. We knew they were going to come out and do that. And that's exactly what we needed to be able to throw the ball down the field. And I think we kind of did a better job, obviously, than the past two games in doing that. So I'm just really happy that we came out there and executed.
Our final question for Tylan Wallace is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Did it feel good to see Chuba running the way that he was today?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was definitely nice to see him get out there and just, run the ball like I know he knows how to run the ball, going out there and executing the game plan. It's really good to see, especially him and LD get in there and really all of our backs go out and just really show their talent out there.
Thanks, Tom.
Tylan, thanks so much, and congratulations on the win. Safe travels home.
Yeah, thank you.
I got to know what was going through your mind when that ball was in your hands.
I mean, it's kind of brought me back to high school. Kind of got a little happy, a lot of happy, to be honest.
You could have broken that one all the way, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was trying hard.
All right, I'm happy for you.
Appreciate it.
If you have a question for linebacker Devin Haper, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Hey, the fact that you guys just continue to dominate defensively, the sample size is getting bigger and bigger of how impressive you guys are. What have you liked most about the way you guys have played to this point?
I just like how diverse we are, and we got everybody that can basically play anything. Like we got people that can rush, people that can blitz, people that can cover. It's just perfect defense kind of, and we're just trying to stick to like the game plans and stick to what Coach Knowles does and because he has a good scheme, and as long as we do the scheme, we can win a lot of games.
I noticed today just the aggressive nature of this defense, and yet you guys are able to be aggressive but still solid. You don't miss tackles and you don't, blow by ball carriers and stuff like that. How have you guys been able to strike that balance, do you think?
Just practice. I mean, every day he's on us in practice that we control the game. As a defense, we can determine the outcome of the game. As long as we don't let them score, and as long as we swarm the ball and everybody tries to tackle him, we're going to get him down.
Thanks, Devin.
Our next question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Devin, kind of walk us through that interception. You kind of talked about it for a minute, so kind of walk us through that.
I mean, it's just a great call by Coach Knowles and great coverage, obviously, and then just kind of happened to – he threw it to my side and kind of just popped up, and I kind of had to catch it. I mean, if I didn't catch it, I kind of looked kind of crazy.
You said it brought back to high school. What do you mean by that?
I mean, back to my running back days, it's just having the ball in my hand. I mean, it's an adrenaline rush. I like it.
On a non-game related note, Ayman was pretty open about his COVID battle last week. What'd you see him go through and how he's responded?
I mean, I talk to him all the time, all day when he had COVID. I mean, he was. I mean, he's a strong man. I mean, he's smart. He knew he could beat it, and we all knew he could overcome it, and he made it through it.
Is he the same person again now? The same player?
Yeah, he's strong. I say he's strong.
Awesome. Thanks, Devin.
All right, Devin, our final question is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Devin, what stood out to you about the defensive front today?
They played their butts off. I mean, they was getting off blocks, making the destruction in the backfield, which they're supposed to do, and they played their butts off.
When they play like that, how much easier does that make your job?
Oh, way easier. I mean, we don't really have to worry about linemen getting to us, and we could just be athletes and be linebackers, make tackles.
Last thing, you give little brother some trouble now that you got to pick and he doesn't yet?
I always give him a hard time. Got to.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Devin, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody, too, for hanging out with us here.